So now that the brakes and suspension on the Mustang are basically done, the car's back on the road and it is a ton of fun to drive. So of course, the very next thing I'm going to do is pull it off the road again. But it's going to be so worth it. Because next up is the engine swap. Man, I've been waiting forever for this part. Out goes the stock 4.62 valve, in goes our new Ford Crate Coyote. Cannot wait to see what this is going to do to the car. It's really going to wake it up. Now, Pro Dyno in Fort Mill, South Carolina is going to help with the engine swap itself. But first, I've got a little bit to do. Dress out the front of the motor and get it as ready as it can be for those guys to jump on it and get it done. I've got several changes to make to the engine, including a new road racing oil pan, Vintage Air front drive with power steering, a starter from Power Master, some other things. So first things first, I've got to get it out of the crate and up on an engine stand where it's easier to work with. To do that, I've got to get the intake manifold off so I can actually get some bolts to this engine and get it up in the air with a cherry picker. First off is the oil pan. I've got the stock pan off, and here you can see the pickup tube. But what's interesting is that the oil pan gasket is integrated into a windage tray. I'll let you see right here is the original, the stock 8-quart oil pan. Not a bad pan at all, nothing wrong with it. But what we are doing is upgrading to a Moroso 10-quart pan that should help us out a lot for road racing and track days. Plus, it's a little bit tough to see in there, but there are gated baffles to help control oil and keep it near the pickup tube no matter how hard we're pulling. So just need to get it put on. The oil pan gasket is reusable, and I'm thankful for that because it's pretty pricey. So anyhow, we're using the standard fasteners to go back on. According to the Ford build book, they go in at 89 inch-pounds plus 45 degrees. Now for oil pan bolts, I'm not going to get out the angle finder, so I am going to torque them to the 89 inch-pounds, and then after that, the 45 degrees, I'm just going to use the calibrated eyeball. Next up for the Coyote is going to be the front drive assembly. Now Vintage Air has an excellent kit I'm really excited about for this. It includes an air conditioning compressor, a Detroit Speed power steering pump. Now we'll run a remote power steering fluid reservoir with that. And then everything we need to get it bolted up nice and sanitary. So just need to rip this apart. Maybe I'll spend a little time reading the instructions, and on it goes next. So first things first is a little bit of weight removal. This little doohickey bracket right here is in the way for our actual bracket that we want to mount. So off it goes. And now the bracket can be torqued into place with the included ARP 12-point bolts. To that, the belt tensioner bracket can be attached. All the bracketry on this kit is billet aluminum and really gorgeous. Vintage Air did a great job with this, but to get the upper bracket to fit, we're going to need to drill and tap these two upper bosses to accept a 10mm bolt. So what we're going to do is loosely mount up this upper bracket using the bottom mounting location. It'll help us keep everything squared up for when we drill it holes. And then we'll use this sleeve in each of the holes to keep the drill bit square while we cut the bigger holes 1 inch deep. Followed by a bottoming tap. This is the idler pulley. It mounts up down here, and the two little holes keep it squared up. With the idler pulley installed, we've got to get it into the loose position so we'll be able to thread the serpentine belt on it. So we do that by taking a 1/2 inch drive ratchet, popping it in right there, and then we can run it down and use a 1/4 bolt that's at least 2.5 inches long. Just slide it in that hole right there, and that'll hold the idler pulley in the open position until we're ready for it. Vintage Air sent us this sweet power steering pump from Detroit Speed and Engineering and a machined aluminum power steering pulley, but they need to go together. Resist the urge to just bang this on with a hammer because you will destroy the pump. Instead, use a good pulley installation tool. Either go and invest in one or just borrow it from your local parts store. Either way, stay away from the hammer. Now you and I may consider this the front of the pump, but to get it to work on this setup, it's got to go in upside down like this in the bracket. So we'll just slide it in right there and bolt her down. So these two ARP bolts get run down to 24 foot-pounds, but we'll wait until this whole bracket gets bolted up to the front of the engine, gives us better leverage so we can hang on to it. And now's the part where you need 3 hands and a lot of patience. The rib serpentine belt, which is provided, goes over the idler pulley on top, underneath the power steering pulley right here, and around here like that. And then we can bolt this up. Still got to add the air conditioning compressor right here, but that comes next. And of course, if you don't remember, we haven't tightened down the power steering pump bolts yet. So now that this is all secured, we'll torque these to 24 foot-pounds. And now all that's left for this part of the program is to release the idler bearing and tighten up the belt. Perfect. Just like it's meant to be there. This is one of PowerMaster's 245 amp alternators. It bolts directly to the engine's front cover without any brackets. And that will just about do it. Unfortunately, I'm not quite done. The belt that I had was for the stock system, and it's way too long for the crank pulley to the water pump to the alternator here. So I've got to go back to the parts store and try again on that. But otherwise, I've got the front drive done. I'm ready to take it down to Pro Dyno, and we're going to start the engine swap next week. Thanks a lot.